Have you ever wondered what truly matters before you turn 80? As the years pass, time feels softer but heavier. The mornings grow quieter, and sometimes you catch yourself asking, is this how I want the rest of my life to feel? Many people believe that growing old is simply about surviving longer, but that's not true. The real difference between a peaceful old age and a miserable one often lies in a few simple choices, made earlier choices that shape how your body moves, how your mind stays awake, and how your heart keeps its light. I've met men and women in their 70s who still walk with strength and laughter, and others who already feel decades older than their age. The contrast isn't luck, it's the result of habits, 7 essential things that protect your body, mind, and spirit before you reach 80. These are not myths or wishful thoughts. They come from what science, medicine, and years of observation have shown about living well into late life. And here's the good news, it's never too late to start. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to focus on: 7 things that can keep you from drifting into regret, loneliness, or weakness, and instead help you build a calm, dignified, and meaningful old age. Now let's begin this journey together. Joe is 75, and every morning before breakfast, he takes a slow walk around his neighborhood. Rain or shine, he moves at his own pace, steady, deliberate, and proud. His neighbors often wave, sometimes joining him for a few minutes. What they don't know is that this daily walk isn't just a habit, it's his quiet promise to himself to keep living fully. Frank, his old friend from work, is the same age, but over the years he stopped walking. Too tired, he says, preferring to stay on the couch watching television. It started small, a few missed days, then weeks, and now even standing for too long feels exhausting. Joe and Frank used to share the same energy, but today one still feels young inside his body, while the other feels trapped in his. Science has a simple explanation. Movement keeps the entire body alive. When you walk, your heart pumps blood more efficiently, your muscles stay strong, and your brain receives more oxygen. Studies have shown that seniors who maintain regular movement, even gentle walking, reduce their risk of heart disease, dementia, and depression. Your legs are not just tools for walking, they are your foundation, your silent guardians of independence. The good news is, you don't need to run marathons. You only need consistency. Start small, a 10-minute stroll after each meal, gentle stretches before bed, or using the stairs instead of the elevator. The goal is not intensity, it's rhythm. Movement signals life to your body. Stillness tells it to decay. And here's something powerful to remember: every time you move, you remind your body that it still belongs to life. You're telling your heart to keep beating, your lungs to keep expanding, and your spirit to stay curious. If you've noticed yourself slowing down lately, don't judge it, just notice it. Then take one small action today. Walk to your mailbox, circle your garden, move your arms as music plays softly in the background, because each step is a message to your body that you still choose vitality. The slower you move, the faster life leaves you. But when you keep moving, no matter how gently, you keep the rhythm of life flowing through you. Now let's move to the next habit, one that keeps your mind as alive as your body. Carol is 74 and has a habit that surprises everyone: she's learning Spanish. Every morning after breakfast, she opens her small notebook, repeats new words aloud, and laughs at her own mistakes. Her grandchildren think it's adorable, but for Carol, it's not about the language. It's about staying alive from the inside out. Across town, her neighbor Walter spends most of his days watching television reruns. He says his memory isn't what it used to be, and learning something new feels pointless. Over time, his mind has grown dull, not because of age, but because it's been left unused. The difference between Carol and Walter isn't intelligence, it's curiosity. Science confirms what Carol's daily ritual demonstrates. The brain remains capable of forming new connections, even in old age, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. Mental stimulation, reading, learning, solving puzzles, or even social conversations encourages your brain to grow new pathways and preserve memory. Studies show that seniors who stay mentally active reduce their risk of cognitive decline and maintain a stronger sense of purpose. But nurturing the mind isn't just about avoiding memory loss, it's about preserving identity. When you keep learning, you remind yourself that you still have something to give, something to discover. Your thoughts stay flexible, your emotions stay balanced, and your confidence deepens. If you've noticed moments of forgetfulness, like walking into a room and forgetting why, don't be discouraged. That's not a sign to stop. It's a signal to engage. Pick up a book that interests you. Try learning a few words of another language or play a simple memory game with your friends. Even talking about your memories out loud helps your brain organize information more clearly. Here's a small practice: choose one mental meal every day. It could be reading a chapter, writing a letter, or watching a documentary that makes you think. Treat your mind the same way you treat your body with daily nourishment. And remember this: the brain grows old only when curiosity dies. Every question you ask, every new thing you try keeps your mind young and your spirit alert. So don't let your thoughts retire before you do. Keep them moving, exploring, wondering. Because the moment you stop feeding your mind, life begins to fade from within. Now let's talk about the third thing you must protect: your sleep, the silent healer of both body and mind. Henry is 76, and every night, just as the sun sets, he follows a quiet ritual. He turns off the television, dims the lights, and plays soft jazz before going to bed. By 10 o'clock, he's already under the covers, breathing slowly, his mind drifting into rest. His mornings begin early, fresh and calm. His wife says he's the same man he was 20 years ago, steady, kind, and sharp. Bill, his old fishing friend, lives differently. He scrolls through his phone until midnight, falls asleep, with the TV humming in the background, and wakes up 3 or 4 times each night. By morning, he feels exhausted and irritable. That's just what happens when you're old, he says. But the truth is, poor sleep isn't just a side effect of aging. It's a message from the body that something needs care. Science tells us that sleep is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity. During deep sleep, the brain clears toxins, the heart rate stabilizes, and the immune system resets. Studies show that older adults who sleep well consistently around 7 hours each night have better memory, stronger immunity, and even lower risks of heart disease and dementia. The good news: you can restore good sleep at any age. It starts with rhythm. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Let your evenings be a gentle descent rather than a crash. Avoid heavy meals, bright screens, and caffeine after the afternoon. Instead, create a wind-down ritual: soft music, a warm bath, or reading something uplifting. Think of sleep as the quiet conversation between your body and your soul. When you ignore it, both begin to drift apart. But when you honor it, they meet again each night, renewing your strength and peace. If you find yourself waking often, don't panic, breathe. Sit up, stretch lightly, or write down what's on your mind. The goal isn't perfect sleep, it's gentle restfulness. Because peaceful nights build brighter mornings, and the way you rest at night decides how alive you'll feel the next day. So tonight, treat your sleep as sacred. Let it hold you, heal you, and prepare you for another day of living. Let's move on to the next key: healing the old emotions that quietly shape your health and your happiness. Walter is 78, and for nearly 20 years he carried a quiet heaviness in his heart. He hadn't spoken to his son since a painful argument about money and pride. At first he said he didn't care, but every night when the house grew silent, regret crept in. The anger that once made him feel powerful slowly turned into loneliness. One day at his doctor's office, Walter's blood pressure was dangerously high. The doctor asked about his diet, his exercise, and finally his stress. That question broke him. He went home, sat by the window, and for the first time in years, he whispered a prayer: "I forgive him." A few weeks later, he picked up the phone and called his son. The first words were awkward, but by the end of that call, something inside him softened. He slept better that night than he had in years. Science has long shown what the heart already knows: holding on to anger harms the body. Chronic resentment triggers stress hormones like cortisol, which increase inflammation, damage blood vessels, and weaken the immune system. Emotional wounds that go unhealed quietly become physical ones. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing what happened. It means freeing yourself from the burden of carrying the past. You don't forgive to make others feel better. You forgive to make space for peace within yourself. If you find yourself replaying old hurts, try this simple practice. Write a letter you never send. Pour out every thought, every emotion, every wish for peace, then fold it and let it go. You can burn it, bury it, or simply place it in a box. The act itself tells your body it's time to release. You might also try breathing exercises. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale slowly and imagine each breath carrying away a piece of what no longer serves you. Emotional healing is not a single moment. It's a slow unwinding, a daily choice to let your heart rest. And as your heart finds calm, your body follows. Studies show that people who forgive experience lower blood pressure, stronger immune response, and a longer lifespan. The truth is simple: emotional peace is the greatest medicine. If you're still carrying pain from years ago, don't wait for time to heal it. Help it heal. Because the weight you release today might be the reason you live lighter tomorrow. Now let's move towards something deeply human: the way we eat and connect two habits that nourish both body and soul. Margaret is 74 and lives alone since her husband passed away. Every evening, she still sets the table for two, one plate for herself, one small candle for memory. She cooks simple meals, vegetables, soup, a piece of fruit. Sometimes she invites her neighbor over to share dinner. Food tastes better when someone's across the table, she says, smiling. Her friend Susan, the same age, often skips meals. I'm not hungry, she says. Most of her food comes from boxes or cans. She eats in silence, standing by the sink. Over time, her energy faded, and she began losing weight without realizing it. What she didn't know is that her body wasn't just hungry for food, it was hungry for connection. Science has confirmed that how you eat matters as much as what you eat. Eating slowly and sharing meals with others reduces stress hormones, improves digestion, and even strengthens the heart. Studies show that older adults who eat in company, friends, family, or community live longer and report higher happiness levels. Social eating triggers the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, reminding the body that it belongs to something larger than itself. The same goes for the food itself. A simple, balanced diet, fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains keeps the body strong and the mind alert. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated diets. Your body understands simplicity better than excess. If you've lost your appetite lately, take it as a whisper from your body, not a punishment. Sometimes appetite fades because life feels repetitive or lonely. To bring it back, make eating a small ritual again. Use a real plate, sit down, play music, light a candle. Even if you're alone, eat with presence. And if possible, invite someone to join you once a week. A shared meal can do more for your heart than medicine. Remember, nourishment isn't just about nutrients, it's about attention. When you prepare food with care, you're telling your body you're still worth caring for. And when you share that food, you're telling the world life is still good when it's shared. A shared meal is a shared life. It reminds you that even in aging, there's warmth, rhythm, and belonging. Now, one last thing remains: the purpose that gives all these habits meaning, the reason to keep waking up with gratitude each morning. Frank is 81, and every morning he walks to the small library near his home. He volunteers there, reading stories to children who gather around him with wide eyes. They think I'm teaching them. He laughs softly, but really they're teaching me how to stay alive. Frank's back aches sometimes and his legs are slower than before, but his days are full. Purpose has become his medicine. Now that you've learned the 6 habits that protect your body and your mind movement, learning rest, forgiveness, nourishment, and connection, there's one more thing that ties them all together: meaning. Without it, even good habits feel empty. With it, even the smallest routines become sacred. Science supports this truth. Studies show that older adults who live with a sense of purpose through volunteering, creativity, or helping others experience less depression, stronger immunity, and even longer lifespans. But beyond science, there's a quiet wisdom in it. When you wake up with something to look forward to, you give time a reason to keep unfolding. Your future isn't set in stone. No matter your age, you can begin again. Start small, call someone who matters, plant something in your garden. Write down one thing you're grateful for each morning. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be real. Longevity isn't about counting the years, it's about filling them with meaning. So before you turn 80, remember this: a healthy life is not just one that lasts, but one that loves, gives, and grows. Thank you for joining me today. If this message touched your heart, leave a comment below. Share one thing you'll start doing differently after watching. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and share this video to help others find peace in their own journey.